Life doesn't wait for us to feel ready. It doesn't pause because we're tired, afraid, or uncertain. It keeps moving. And if we want to live a life that means something, if we want to become more than what we were yesterday, we have to learn to rise, no matter how many times we fall. Getting up isn't just a physical act. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's mental. It's that silent battle we fight within ourselves when everything feels heavy. Yet something within us whispers, try again. Getting up means believing in the possibility of a better moment even when the present one feels like it's crushing you. It means choosing progress over comfort, even if that progress is as small as just getting out of bed when you don't want to. Because when we get up, we're telling the world and ourselves that we're not done yet, that there's still some fight left in us, that the story isn't over just because this chapter hurts. Asterisk life doesn't wait for you to feel ready, rise. Anyway, the truth is, if you sit around waiting for the perfect moment to begin, it may never come. Readiness is not a feeling you wait for, it's a decision you make. The people who achieve things, the ones you look up to, the ones who seem to carry their dreams into reality, they didn't always feel prepared. They just stood up and stepped forward, even with trembling hands and uncertain hearts. They acted while afraid. They moved through the fog of doubt. They dared to try before they felt worthy, before the path was clear, before the confidence kicked in. There's a myth that says you need to be fully confident, fully prepared, and fully fearless before starting anything meaningful. But that myth paralyzes more people than failure ever will. What truly matters is not how ready you feel, it's how deeply you're willing to move despite the fear. Because life will pass you by while you wait. Opportunities will drift away while you overthink. Time won't stop to give you extra space for perfection. If you want a different life, you have to move differently now, even in the absence of certainty. Every dream has a beginning, and that beginning usually feels clumsy. You'll feel exposed, unsure, unqualified. You'll hear voices internal and external that question your worth, your path, your timing. But progress is born in those exact moments when you push forward anyway. Getting up when it's uncomfortable. Showing up when no one's cheering, refusing to give up when everything inside you whispers that it would be easier to quit. These are the moments that shape your future. The habit of rising again, of stepping forward in uncertainty, builds something inside you that becomes unshakable. It's not about one grand, perfect act. It's about hundreds of small, brave decisions. It's about saying yes to your calling when the world only shows you closed doors. It's about writing the first page of the book, recording the first messy video, applying for the job you think you won't get, forgiving when your heart is still aching, starting the business without the perfect plan. You rise not because the path is smooth, but because something inside you refuses to stay on the ground. There will always be something that tells you to wait. Wait until you're stronger. Wait until you're more experienced. Wait until life slows down. Wait until you're not afraid. But if you keep waiting, you'll miss what could have been. Growth doesn't come from perfect timing, it comes from action. You learn by doing. You gain strength by struggling through. You build confidence, not by thinking, but by proving to yourself that you can survive the unknown. You don't need to be fully healed to move forward. You don't need to have every answer to take the next step. You don't need applause or approval to trust your own voice. What you need is a decision. A decision to rise, a decision to show up even if no one sees your effort, a decision to never give up because your purpose matters more than your fear. Some days, the hardest part is just beginning, just swinging your legs out of bed, just taking the first breath of the day, just walking into a room when your confidence is nowhere to be found. But those are the exact days that count the most, because it's easy to keep going when momentum is high. But when everything feels heavy and you still choose to rise, that's where resilience is forged. That's where transformation begins. You were not made to wait in fear. You were made to walk through it. And you don't walk through it with grand declarations or perfect plans. You walk through it one imperfect, determined step at a time. Even crawling is progress. Even standing still with the intention to keep trying is strength. Don't let hesitation become a habit. Don't let self-doubt build walls around your future. Choose movement, choose effort, choose to act, especially when it's hard. You won't always get it right. You'll fall, you'll fail, you'll question everything. But if you get up one more time then you fall, you're still moving forward. That's what makes the difference. Not avoiding failure, but refusing to surrender to it. The courage to begin again each day is what separates those who build a life they're proud of from those who only dream about it. And this courage isn't found in some magical moment, it's built from the inside out. Each time you rise when it would have been easier to stay down. Don't underestimate the power of your presence. Showing up consistently, authentically, even when you feel broken, is a victory. There is power in your perseverance. There is healing in your discipline. There is meaning in your effort. Life doesn't require you to be fearless. It asks only that you keep going, that you stay in the fight, that you rise again and again, not because you feel like it, but because you've decided your story isn't over yet. No one else can live your purpose. No one else can carry your dream. No one else can rise in your place. This is your battle, your mountain, your calling, and it begins the moment you stop waiting to feel ready and choose to rise with what you have. Right here, right now, because you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be willing. You don't need to know the whole road, you just need to take the next step. That's how everything changes, one rise at a time. Getting up is a decision to not let your struggle define you. It is the moment you reclaim your power from the circumstances that tried to break you. Struggles are real, they're painful, and sometimes they're long-lasting. But the story doesn't have to end there. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not your darkest days. You are the person who chooses to rise in spite of them. Getting up doesn't erase the pain, but it proves that the pain didn't win. It says, "This is not where my story stops." It's not about denying the difficulty of what you've gone through. It's about refusing to let it be the final word. Every single person faces a battle, and many of those battles are invisible. But the difference between those who stay stuck and those who grow is the choice to get up again. Struggle may have knocked you down, but it doesn't have the right to keep you there. The moment you stand back up, even when it hurts, even when it's messy, you've already started to win. Because you've chosen strength over surrender, growth over grief, and purpose over pain. Getting up is a quiet revolution inside the soul. No one may notice it. No one may applaud it. But it shifts something inside you. It's a declaration that you are more than what tried to break you. Struggle may be part of your journey, but it is not your identity. The world may try to define you by your setbacks, your scars, your lowest moments. But your power lies in defining yourself by how you responded. You got up, you kept going, and that changes everything. Sometimes getting up looks small. It's brushing your teeth after days of numbness. It's making that one phone call. It's taking a shower, opening the curtains, showing up to work when your heart is aching. Sometimes it's walking away from what hurt you. Other times it's staying and doing the hard work to heal what broke. But every single time you get up, you reinforce your resilience. You teach your mind and soul that you are not controlled by your struggle. You are guided by something deeper, something stronger. People will judge you by what they see, but they don't know what it cost you to get out of bed today. They don't see the war you fought just to smile. They don't hear the silence that echoed in your mind while you forced yourself to keep going. And yet, you did. That is not weakness. That is strength in its purest form. Getting up after being knocked down again and again is not just an act of survival. It's an act of faith, a belief in the possibility that something better still awaits, that you are not done yet, that you still have something left to give. Struggles may shape you, but they do not define you. What defines you is the choice to rise again and again, even when there is no immediate reward, even when the road is still unclear, even when healing feels slow and progress feels invisible. Because every time you get up, you push the boundary of what is possible. You rewrite the narrative. You take back control from whatever tried to hold you down. There are days when getting up feels impossible. Your heart feels heavy. Your mind is exhausted. Your body aches from the weight of it all. And that's when the choice becomes most powerful. Not when it's easy, but when it feels like everything inside you is screaming to give up. That's the very moment you must decide to stand anyway, to keep showing up, to believe, even if just a little, that your story is not over. Because getting up in the middle of your pain is the loudest way to say, "This is not the end of me." You don't have to get up perfectly. You don't have to have it all figured out. Sometimes getting up means limping forward, crying while you move, falling again just to rise once more. That's okay. No one rises flawlessly. What matters is that you do. What matters is that your pain didn't turn into a permanent pause. What matters is that you kept breathing, kept walking, kept trying. That is what defines you. It's easy to let your struggle tell you who you are, to let disappointment shape your self-worth, to let loss convince you that you're not enough. But when you decide to get up, you break that narrative. You separate who you are from what you've been through. You begin to see yourself not as a victim, but as a warrior. Not as someone who was broken, but as someone who chose to rebuild. Not as someone defined by their past, but as someone writing a new future with every single step forward. There is no shame in falling. There's only strength in standing again. The people who inspire the world are not those who never suffered. They're the ones who suffered deeply, yet still rose. They're the ones who took their pain and used it to fuel their purpose, who took their struggle and turned it into strength. That can be you. You can rise, you can begin again, not because it's easy, but because your future depends on it. You will not always feel strong. You will not always feel hopeful. But every time you rise after being knocked down, you are proving that your spirit cannot be broken. You're proving that the fight is still in you. And that is what the world needs. People who keep rising. People who refuse to let their past become a prison. People who say, yes, I've struggled, but I choose to get up. I choose to show up, and I choose to never give up. Showing up daily is the quiet strength that builds greatness. It's not about loud declarations or dramatic moments of victory. It's the simple, consistent choice to keep going, to stay committed, to keep putting in the work even when the excitement fades and no one is watching. That quiet consistency is where greatness is born. Most people underestimate the power of showing up because it looks ordinary. It doesn't always feel inspiring or powerful in the moment, but over time, it becomes the foundation of everything meaningful and lasting. You don't need to feel motivated every single day to show up. You don't need perfect circumstances or applause or permission. You just need a reason deep enough to carry you through the days when it feels hard. When your purpose is stronger than your mood, you show up no matter what. And that's what separates those who only wish from those who actually build. Dreams are important, but without daily action, they stay dreams. Showing up turns vision into reality, one step, one effort, one choice at a time. There will be days when showing up feels like a struggle, days when your energy is low, when doubts are loud, when progress feels invisible. But showing up even on those days is what builds discipline. And discipline is more reliable than motivation. Motivation fades, life gets messy, emotions shift. But if you train yourself to keep showing up anyway, you become unstoppable. It's not about how perfectly you perform. It's about how consistently you show up. The effort you make today might not pay off immediately, but greatness is always the result of compounded effort over time. When you show up day after day, you start to prove to yourself that you can be trusted. You build self-respect. You build confidence. You send a message to your own mind that you are reliable, that you're not giving up on yourself. And that changes everything. Because when you believe in your own ability to keep going, you stop waiting for external validation. You stop needing everyone else to believe in you, because you've already built that belief inside yourself through your own consistent action. Greatness doesn't demand perfection. It demands presence. It demands that you continue to put one foot in front of the other even when the path is unclear. It demands that you stay in the process even when the results aren't instant. There's nothing glamorous about waking up early to work on your goals. There's nothing exciting about doing the same small action day after day. But those are the exact things that create extraordinary outcomes in the long run. The people who succeed are often not the most talented, but the most consistent. Showing up daily also means showing up for your healing, for your growth, for the internal battles that no one sees. It means doing the work to face your fears, to challenge your limiting beliefs, to forgive yourself, to become the version of yourself that you know deep down you're capable of being. That work is quiet. It doesn't always come with applause or rewards, but it transforms you from the inside out. And eventually, the world begins to see what you've been building all along. Every day you show up, you are making progress, even if you can't feel it right away. Growth is often slow and silent. It's not always obvious in the moment, but it accumulates. One day you look back and realize you've become stronger. You've developed skills. You've created something valuable. You've built habits that once felt impossible, and all of that happened because you refused to disappear. You kept showing up, even when it felt like nothing was working. Some of the most important victories happened in private. The moment you choose not to quit, the moment you silence the voice that says you're not good enough, the moment you decide to try again after failing. Those moments may not look like much from the outside, but they are the foundation of greatness. Because it's not about the big, dramatic changes. It's about the accumulation of small, steady efforts made consistently over time. When you show up every day, you also build resilience. You teach yourself how to keep going through difficulty. You become someone who doesn't break when things get hard. And that kind of strength isn't loud, it's quiet, steady, and deep. It's the strength that holds you together when everything else falls apart. It's the strength that allows you to keep rising no matter how many times life tries to knock you down. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel strong. But if you show up anyway, you grow into the person you need to be. You rise through repetition. You become resilient by staying in the fight. Every time you choose action over excuses, you reinforce the identity of someone who doesn't give up. And that identity becomes your anchor. It becomes your guide when you're lost, your reason when things don't make sense, your fire when everything else grows cold. There's something powerful about the quiet commitment to keep showing up, to keep trying, to keep building, even when no one sees, even when the world is silent, even when the progress is invisible. That kind of consistency changes you. It teaches you patience. It develops character, and in time, it delivers the kind of success that others admire but rarely understand. Because what they don't see is the days you didn't feel like it but did it anyway. The times you wanted to quit but stayed in the game. The nights you cried but still got up the next morning and tried again. That's the kind of effort that leads to greatness. Not overnight, not instantly, but inevitably. So show up every day, even in silence, even in struggle, even when it's hard. Because the daily decision to show up is the quiet strength that builds everything you were born to become. Progress often looks like persistence, not perfection. In a world that celebrates highlight reels and polished outcomes, it's easy to forget that the real work is done in the mess. The truth is, you don't have to be perfect to move forward. You don't have to get everything right. You just have to keep showing up, keep trying, and keep going. Because that consistent push, even when you're tired, even when you're uncertain, is what carves the path toward success. Perfection is an illusion that holds people back. It whispers lies that if you're not flawless, you're not worthy, or if you fail once, you're a failure. But persistence tells a different story. It says you may fall, but you can get back up. You may stumble, but you can still move forward. You may struggle, but you are growing through every step of the journey. Perfection focuses on appearance. Persistence focuses on progress. Perfection seeks to impress. Persistence seeks to improve. When you aim for perfection, you freeze, you wait, you hesitate. But when you commit to persistence, you act, you learn, you adjust, and with every repetition, you get stronger, wiser, more capable. That's how real transformation happens. Not in giant leaps, but in small daily choices to keep going no matter what. Persistence doesn't guarantee that everything will go smoothly. In fact, it almost assures that things will get hard. But what it gives you is the inner strength to push through resistance, to keep climbing when the mountain gets steep. Every moment you persist builds something inside you that perfection never could. It builds character. It builds resilience. It builds a deep-rooted belief that you can face difficulty and not run from it. There is beauty in the struggle. There is strength in the repetition. When you try, fail, and try again, you are becoming someone who refuses to surrender. You are writing a story that says you didn't quit just because it was hard. You didn't walk away just because the outcome wasn't immediate. You stayed with it. You kept digging. You believed there was something worth fighting for, and so you fought. Progress is found in the doing, in the daily effort, in the ordinary routines that may feel small in the moment, but stack up over time to create extraordinary results. You may not notice how far you've come until one day you realize that what once overwhelmed you no longer controls you, that the thing that used to break you is now the reason you're stronger, that the pain you carried has become a part of your purpose. That happens because you didn't give up. There will be times when your progress feels invisible. You'll question whether your effort even matters. You'll wonder if you're wasting your time. But that's the test. That's the space where growth is quietly taking root. Keep going anyway. Keep pushing, because persistence doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's just a quiet decision to try again tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next, until one day, you realize you've built something powerful, something perfect can never build. Momentum. Perfection demands that everything goes according to plan. Persistence knows that the plan will change, and that's okay. Life is full of setbacks, surprises, and storms. If you try to be perfect, you'll break the first time things go wrong. But if you're persistent, you bend, you adapt, you keep walking even if the road twists in ways you didn't expect. That flexibility is the true sign of strength. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to perform without flaw. You just need to stay in the fight. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep choosing effort over excuses. And know that every time you persist, even when it's hard, you're growing. You're building trust in yourself. You're proving that your commitment is greater than your circumstances. There's power in the messy middle, the part where you're unsure, but you're still going. The part where results haven't shown up yet, but you're showing up anyway. That's where champions are made. Not in the final victory, but in the 1,000 unseen steps that led to it. Not in the perfect execution, but in the relentless commitment to keep going when it felt easier to quit. Every expert was once a beginner who kept going. Every story of success is a story of persistence. The ones who make it aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who didn't stop. They failed, they learned, and they kept trying. And slowly, they became the person capable of the success they once only dreamed about. That's what persistence does. It molds you. It strengthens you. It prepares you for what's ahead. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to fall short. But don't let those moments define you. Let them refine you. Let them teach you what perfection never could. Let them remind you that being human means being in progress. And progress, real progress, is made through effort, not flawless performance. Every time you keep going, you are becoming more resilient. Every time you choose action over fear, you are becoming more courageous. Every time you try again, you are proving that persistence is stronger than perfection. So don't stop. Keep getting up. Keep showing up, and never give up, because the road may not be perfect, but your effort is what leads to everything worth having. Success is earned by those who keep going, not just those who start. Starting is important. It takes courage to begin. It takes a certain kind of belief to step out of your comfort zone and commit to a goal, a dream, a new version of yourself. But starting alone isn't enough. The world is full of people who started something with passion and fire, only to walk away when things got tough. The ones who succeed are the ones who keep moving forward long after the excitement fades. They're the ones who show up when it's hard, who push through when it's boring, who refuse to stop even when progress is slow. That determination, that refusal to give up, is what sets them apart. There's something powerful about consistency. It doesn't get the praise that bold beginnings get, but it's what creates real change. Anyone can start a workout plan, a business, a new habit, a creative project, but sticking with it when results aren't immediate is where most people fall off. It's in that quiet space between the starting line and the finish line where the real work happens. That's where character is built. That's where greatness is forged. Not in the moment you decide to begin, but in every moment after, when you choose not to give up. Keeping on going, even when no one notices, even when nothing seems to be changing, is a form of strength that cannot be faked. It's waking up on the days you feel like quitting and saying, "I'm still in this." It's taking action when your motivation is gone. It's holding on to your why when your circumstances tempt you to walk away. That's the heart of success, not talent, not luck, not even timing. but the quiet persistence to continue no matter what. Many people believe that success is for the smartest, the most gifted, the ones with the best resources. But the truth is, success belongs to the most committed, the ones who are willing to do the work when it's no longer exciting, the ones who learn from every setback instead of using it as a reason to stop, the ones who stay the course, even when the road gets longer than they expected, because they know that quitting guarantees failure, but continuing keeps the door to possibility wide open. It's easy to be inspired at the beginning. It's easy to be optimistic when everything is fresh. But how you respond when the excitement wears off is what determines your outcome. Will you keep showing up? Will you keep putting in the work? Will you trust the process even when it's slower than you hoped? The ones who can answer yes are the ones who reach their goals, not because it was easy, but because they refuse to stop. Life will test you. Your dreams will be challenged. You will face moments that make you question why you even started. But those moments are not the end. They are just part of the journey. If you keep going, you grow stronger, you gain experience, you build momentum. The obstacles that once seemed impossible begin to shrink as your determination grows. Every step you take forward, no matter how small, is proof that you're still in the fight. And that's what matters most. You don't have to be the best when you start. You just have to keep improving, keep showing up, keep learning, keep adjusting. The road to success isn't straight. It's filled with twists and turns, highs and lows, victories and defeats. But if you stay the course, if you keep taking steps forward, you will move closer to where you want to be. It's not about how fast you get there. It's about not stopping until you do. There will always be reasons to quit. Fear, fatigue, failure. But you have to remember that every successful person you admire once stood in the same place you are. They faced the same doubts, the same delays, the same discouragements. What made the difference wasn't that they never struggled. It's that they never walked away from the struggle. They stayed, they fought, they kept going when giving up would have been easier. And in time, their persistence paid off. Your journey may be longer than you planned. It may be harder than you imagined, but it is not impossible. If you get up after every fall, if you show up when it's inconvenient, if you never give up when things go silent, you are already successful. Because you are doing what most people won't. You are enduring. You are becoming stronger, wiser, more focused. And that kind of growth is what leads to lasting success. Starting takes a spark. Continuing takes fire. It takes a deep reason, a powerful why, and a mindset that doesn't crumble when faced with pressure. That's how goals are achieved. That's how lives are changed. It's not about how loud you start. It's about how long you stay committed. If you can keep going when the crowd stops cheering, when the path gets lonely, when results take time, you will get there. Success isn't sudden. It's slow. It's built in the repetition. In the days when nothing exciting happens, but you still choose to show up. In the nights when you want to rest, but you still choose to try. It's earned through perseverance, through grit, through a steady refusal to give up on what matters. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve, those who start and those who finish. The ones who win are not always the ones who started first. They're the ones who stayed longest. Your breakthrough lives on the other side of your refusal to quit. It's easy to believe that if something is meant for you, it will come quickly and without resistance. But the truth is, anything meaningful in life demands a price, and that price is often paid through perseverance, through days that test your patience, through nights that feel empty, and through moments when quitting seems like the easiest path. But the people who experience breakthroughs are not those who never struggled. They are the ones who stayed when others left. The ones who fought when it was easier to walk away. The ones who believed when no one else did. Your next level is waiting, but it won't reveal itself until you've proven that you're willing to keep going. Without seeing the full picture, every challenge you face is not meant to stop you, but to stretch you. It's in the resistance that strength is built. It's in the repetition that growth takes place. Each time you choose to rise, you're getting closer to something greater. Not because the path is easy, but because your commitment is real. Quitting might feel like relief in the moment, but it leaves you with a question that never goes away. What could have happened if I had kept going? That question is far heavier than the burden of persistence. Breakthrough moments don't announce themselves. They don't come with signs or guarantees. They arrive quietly, often after your hardest season. They come after the heartbreak, after the delay, after the doubt. They come when you think the effort is wasted, when your energy is low, when your belief is hanging by a thread. But if you can hold on, if you can dig a little deeper, if you can get through one more difficult day, you create space for the very thing you've been waiting for. Because what you're pushing toward is not out of reach, it's just on the other side of your endurance. Too many people give up right before the breakthrough. They turn around just before the finish line, not because they're weak, but because the journey tests everything: your faith, your patience, your will. But if you can understand that struggle is not the end but a gateway, you begin to treat hardship differently. You don't see it as punishment. You see it as preparation. You see it as the fire that forges something greater inside you. And you realize that the struggle isn't proof you're failing, it's proof you're getting closer. There's a shift that happens when you decide you're not going to quit. When you stop waiting for things to be easy and instead commit to pushing through what's hard. That's when you begin to tap into your real strength. That's when you realize you've been capable all along, but it took the pressure to reveal it. That's the gift hidden in persistence. It transforms you. It strengthens your identity. It gives you a sense of self-trust that no one can take from you. Because you didn't just wish for it, you worked for it, bled for it, stayed for it. The moment you refuse to quit, you shift the direction of your story. You take back control from the voices of fear, doubt, and limitation. You no longer depend on motivation or mood. You move because it matters. You keep going because your vision is bigger than your pain. And when that becomes your standard, you step into a power that most people never access. The power of discipline, the power of resilience, the power of a mind that knows giving up is no longer an option. You don't need to know how it will all work out. You just need to know that quitting guarantees it won't. You don't need to have every answer today. You just need to take one more step. Trust is built in movement. Clarity comes through action. And breakthroughs happen not when the path is clear, but when your determination is unwavering. When you say, I may not know what's next, but I'm not going to stop now. Some of the greatest achievements in life come right after the moment that felt like defeat. Right after the door closed, right after the tears fell. Right after the silence stretched longer than expected. That's why persistence is so powerful. It's not about avoiding difficulty. It's about outlasting it. It's about staying in the race long enough for things to shift, long enough for doors to open, long enough for your preparation to align with your opportunity. You are stronger than the delay. You are bigger than the fear. You are capable of more than you know. And if you refuse to quit, you give yourself a chance to discover just how far you can go. It's not about being fearless. It's about continuing despite the fear. It's not about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. Because every time you rise again, you are closer than you were before. So don't mistake delay for denial. Don't mistake silence for abandonment. Don't mistake struggle for the end. What you're going through is shaping you for what's coming. Keep going. Keep fighting. Keep rising. Your breakthrough isn't far away. It's just waiting for you to prove that you won't give up before it arrives, that you'll stay committed, that you'll remain faithful, that you'll keep showing up until what's meant for you finds you ready. Courage is taking the next step even when fear screams louder. It's that moment when everything inside you trembles with uncertainty, when your heart pounds not with excitement, but with hesitation. Yet you still move, not because the fear is gone, but because something inside you whispers louder than the noise of doubt. The voice that says keep going doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's a whisper barely heard over the chaos, but it's enough. Enough to help you lift your foot and take that step. That's what real courage is, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move through it anyway. Fear is powerful. It knows how to speak to your insecurities, how to remind you of your past failures, how to convince you that risk is too great and you are too small. But what fear doesn't understand is that your strength grows with every step you take. Fear may scream at you to stay still, to protect yourself from pain or embarrassment or loss. But when you take a step forward despite it, you begin to take your power back. You stop letting fear be the decision maker. You stop letting it dictate how your life unfolds. It takes a different kind of strength to act while afraid. That strength isn't built in moments of comfort, it's built in the fire of uncertainty. The more you step forward, the more you realize fear doesn't have the power it claims to. It shrinks each time you challenge it. It loses its grip every time you choose to act in defiance of it. Your life begins to shift not when fear disappears, but when you stop waiting for it to. You don't have to feel fearless to be brave. You don't have to eliminate fear to move toward your goals. What matters is your willingness to act in the presence of fear, because what you want, the dream, the growth, the transformation, it all lives on the other side of that next step. Waiting won't bring the courage, moving will. It's in the movement that courage is built, one shaky breath and one unsure step at a time. When you show up, even scared, you're rewriting the story fear wants you to believe. You're showing yourself that you are more capable than you thought. You begin to see that your fear is not a wall, it's a veil, something that feels real but disappears when you walk through it. Every time you move despite fear, your confidence grows, not because the outcome is guaranteed, but because you prove to yourself that fear doesn't own you. You don't need all the answers to take action. You just need enough trust in yourself to begin. The next step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be taken. That's where progress lives. That's where strength builds. And that's where fear begins to lose its control. Because fear feeds on your silence, on your stillness, but courage disrupts it. Courage reminds fear that it's not in charge. There will be moments when everything feels overwhelming, when the uncertainty ahead seems too vast and your past screams too loudly. Those are the moments where courage becomes most powerful. Not in moments of triumph, but in the moments where no one sees the war inside you, and yet you still choose to move. You get up, you show up, you keep going, and that's the core of never giving up. It's not about having all the strength in the world. It's about having just enough to take the next step. Sometimes courage looks like doing the hard thing even when no one understands. Sometimes it means starting over when the last try broke you. Sometimes it's choosing to believe in yourself again after disappointment. And sometimes it's simply standing back up when you don't feel like you can. But every time you do, you're reminding yourself that setbacks don't define you. Fear doesn't control you, and your story is still being written. There's no perfect way to walk through fear. It doesn't go away just because you want it to. It goes quiet when you keep moving in spite of it. You may cry as you go. You may question everything. But if you don't stop, if you keep showing up to your own life, you will see the breakthrough that fear tried to block. You will become the version of yourself that only courage can unlock. Fear will never stop knocking, but you don't have to open the door. You can acknowledge it and keep moving. You can hear it and still act. That's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who grow. It's not that the brave don't feel fear. It's that they don't let it be the final voice in the room. They feel the fear and take the step anyway. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the smartest. But you do have to be willing to keep going, willing to rise again, willing to take that next step. Because everything you want is waiting. It's just past the fear. It's just beyond the moment you decide not to quit. You are not here to live small or stay safe. You are here to rise, to grow, to overcome. So when fear screams, let courage answer. Not with noise, but with action. Let your next step be your answer. Let your refusal to give up be your reply. And with each step, you will walk into the life that fear tried to deny you. One step, one breath, one brave moment at a time. The fight isn't over until you decide to walk away. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Rise anyway. There will always be reasons to delay, always excuses that seem valid, and always fear telling you to wait a little longer. But the truth is, waiting for the perfect moment is just another way of giving fear a seat at the table. If you keep postponing your progress until you feel strong enough, confident enough, healed enough, you'll find yourself standing in the same place a year from now, still waiting, still doubting, still stuck. Readiness doesn't show up before you act, it grows as you do. It builds with every decision to rise despite the uncertainty, with every choice to keep moving even when you're tired of fighting. Life doesn't slow down to match your comfort level. It keeps moving, time keeps ticking, and if you want to grow, you have to rise even when you don't feel prepared. Especially then, because those are the moments when you're stretched. Those are the moments when you find out who you really are. It's easy to feel powerful when everything is going well, when you're rested, motivated, supported. But true strength is built in the middle of your hardest days. It's built when you choose to fight through the resistance, to face the storm, rather than wait for it to pass. The fight is not over because you're tired. It's not over because things haven't worked out yet. It's not over because others have given up on you. The only way the fight ends is if you lay down your will to continue. And that decision is always in your hands. As long as you're willing to stand back up, as long as there's breath in your lungs and fire in your heart, your story is still unfolding. You still have power. You still have a say. The pain you're facing may be heavy, but it doesn't get to decide how this ends. You do. So many people give up when things get hard, thinking that their struggle is a sign they're not meant for the path they're on. But struggle isn't a sign to quit. It's proof that you're in the middle of growth. Nothing worth building comes without pressure. Pressure is what makes diamonds. It's what forges character, shapes resilience, and teaches you how to hold on when everything else is trying to pull you down. Don't run from the difficulty. Let it refine you. Let it strengthen the parts of you that comfort never could. You don't have to see the whole path to take the next step, and you don't need to feel 100% ready to rise. The most powerful transformations often begin when you're unsure, afraid, and barely hanging on. But you choose to move anyway. You choose to fight back against the urge to quit. You choose to show up to your life with everything you've got, even if it's not much today, because that choice builds momentum. It tells the world you're not done. It tells yourself that you are still in this. Your strength is not measured by how perfectly you perform. It's measured by how consistently you get back up. It's measured by how many times you said, "I'm not giving up today." It's found in those moments when no one is clapping, when you feel invisible, when the results are delayed but you keep going. That's what real strength looks like. Quiet, relentless, unshakable commitment to your future. You don't need to be fearless to have that kind of strength. You just need to believe that your fight still matters. People will walk away. Support will fade. Plans will fall apart. But if you stay committed to the process, if you refuse to back down when it gets hard, life will meet you there. Breakthroughs aren't given to those who only start strong. They're earned by those who refuse to stop, who understand that endurance beats excitement, that staying power matters more than starting power. Anyone can begin, but it takes someone truly committed to rise again and again. When quitting feels like the easier option, you're not weak for feeling tired. You're not broken because it's taking longer than you expected. You're human. And every human being goes through seasons that test their spirit. What matters is what you do in those seasons. Will you give up on yourself, or will you rise anyway? Will you walk away from your purpose, or will you plant your feet and say, "Not today"? You have that choice, and it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever own. Your readiness will come through the doing, through the action, through the messy, imperfect attempts that slowly teach you how capable you really are. There's no shortcut to strength, no fast pass to confidence. You earn it one decision at a time, one refusal to quit at a time, one day of getting up, showing up, and never giving up. That's how readiness is born. That's how breakthroughs happen. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to not have all the answers. But it's not okay to give up on a life that's still waiting for you to rise into it. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Don't wait until everything makes sense. Rise anyway. Even if your legs shake, even if your voice trembles, even if you're carrying doubt, just rise, just try, just take that one next step. Because as long as you're still willing to fight, the fight is not over, and life, the raw, beautiful, meaningful life you're meant for, is still within reach. Even small steps forward are part of a powerful journey. It's easy to overlook the quiet progress made in everyday moments. We often think that transformation only comes in big breakthroughs or dramatic changes, but the truth is, real growth lives in the small, consistent actions we choose to take when no one is watching. The days you show up tired, the mornings you choose effort over excuses, the times you move forward with doubt still echoing in your mind. Those are not insignificant. Those are foundational. Every step, no matter how small, is movement. Every small choice to keep going is an act of strength that builds momentum, discipline, And resilience. There is power in deciding to keep moving even when progress is slow. The world glorifies speed, instant results, and overnight success. But the journey to anything meaningful is usually long, messy, and filled with tiny victories that don't always get noticed. But just because they're quiet doesn't mean they're not powerful. Sometimes the most important steps are the ones no one applauds, the ones you take in silence, with trembling hands and a heart full of uncertainty. Those steps may not look like much in the moment, but they are writing your story. Big leaps are exciting, but it's the small steps that build your foundation. A strong life, a meaningful goal, a transformed self. These are never built in a day. They're built over time, through repetition, through showing up again and again, through believing that small doesn't mean weak, that slow doesn't mean stuck, that forward is still forward, no matter the pace. Every step you take, even when it feels like crawling, is creating motion. It's pushing you closer to the life you're fighting for. And that's something to be proud of. There will be days when the progress is invisible, when it feels like nothing is changing, when doubt whispers that your efforts don't matter. But those are the exact moments you need to keep going, because growth isn't always obvious. It's often hidden beneath the surface, working quietly inside of you. Your mindset is shifting, your strength is increasing, your habits are solidifying. It may not feel like a breakthrough, but it's still transformation. The seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted, it grows in the dark first, and so do you. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Anyone can give a burst of energy for a day or two, but the people who truly change their lives are the ones who keep showing up with small, steady effort. They understand that progress is not measured in big wins, but in daily choices. The choice to wake up early, the choice to speak kindly to yourself, the choice to try again after failure. Each one is a step forward. Each one is a brick laid in the foundation of something great. And over time, those bricks build something unshakable. Don't wait for the perfect moment to take a giant leap. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. A small step today is more powerful than a big intention left for tomorrow. You don't need everything to be figured out. You just need to be willing to move. Because movement creates clarity. It teaches you. It opens doors. It shows you what you're capable of. And that willingness to keep stepping forward, especially when you feel stuck, is how you keep building your life. The path to your goal isn't a straight line. It's full of turns, backtracks, and restarts. But every time you get up and take another step, you're declaring that you believe in what you're building, that you value your future more than your comfort, that you're not willing to settle. That is courage. That is persistence. That is what keeps dreams alive. Not just passion, but the daily decision to keep going, to stay in it, to take the next step, however small. You don't have to leap over mountains to be making progress. Sometimes climbing just one more step is the victory. Sometimes just staying in the fight is the win. Life isn't a race to the fastest finish. It's a journey of becoming. And every step, each tiny act of faith, each moment of discipline, each choice to try again shapes who you are becoming along the way. That's why your small steps matter, because they're making you, they're building you, they're leading you to places you can't even see yet. So don't underestimate the power of today's effort. Don't dismiss the value of progress that doesn't look dramatic. Trust the process. Trust your steps. The progress may be slow, but it's steady. It may be quiet, but it's real, and it's yours. You earned it with your persistence, with your refusal to quit, with your decision to rise every time it would have been easier to stop. That's what the journey is made of, not one big moment, but thousands of little ones that you chose to walk through. You are further than you think, stronger than you realize, and closer than you know. Every small step you've taken is a reminder that you didn't give up, that you are still moving, that you are still becoming. The journey is long, but you are not alone. Every step you take connects you to the millions of others who kept going, who kept showing up, who built their lives one small act at a time. So take the next step, however small it may feel, however uncertain the ground may seem, because it matters, because it counts, because every small step forward is part of a powerful journey, and it's one worth walking. You were not made to quit, you were made to overcome. Deep inside you exists a strength that can't be measured by how things look on the outside. It's not defined by how many times you've fallen or how many times you've wanted to give up. It's defined by the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still fighting. Life doesn't give you battles because you're weak. It allows you to face them so you can discover the strength that was always there within you. You were made to rise, to endure, to push through even when your heart is heavy and your energy is low. The world may not always see your struggle, but that doesn't mean it's insignificant. Quiet strength is often the greatest kind, the kind that keeps showing up when no one's watching, the kind that gets up one more time. Even when your mind is filled with doubts, that strength lives inside you, even when you forget it's there. You were not made to run from hardship. You were made to overcome it, to learn, to grow, and to become better through it. There will be moments when everything in you wants to stop, when quitting feels easier than continuing, when the weight you carry feels too heavy. But those are the moments that shape your future. Those are the moments when you're being stretched into someone stronger, wiser, more capable than you've ever been. Every time you choose not to quit, you become more of who you were meant to be. You remind yourself that you are not defined by the challenge. You are defined by how you respond to it. You don't overcome by pretending everything is okay. You overcome by facing your pain head-on, by acknowledging the struggle but refusing to let it break you. You keep going when you're tired. You keep trying when you're discouraged. You keep moving when the path is unclear. That's what it means to overcome. It means you don't back down just because it's hard. You press forward because you know what you're fighting for matters. Your peace matters. Your dreams matter. Your future matters. Sometimes overcoming doesn't look like a big victory. Sometimes it looks like making it through the day. Sometimes it's holding back tears just long enough to take one more step. Sometimes it's asking for help. Sometimes it's saying no to something that drains you. Overcoming is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about being willing to continue even when you don't have all the answers, even when your faith is running low, even when no one else seems to believe in you. You keep believing. Anyway, the truth is, you've already overcome more than you realize. Think back to everything you thought you wouldn't survive. The heartbreaks, the disappointments, the failures. You made it through them all. You may have scars, but you're still standing. That alone is proof that quitting is not your nature. Survival is, strength is, growth is, and every time you rise again, even if it's with shaky legs, you're walking in your purpose. You were not made to quit when things got uncomfortable. You were made to lean in, to face the discomfort, and to allow it to transform you. Pain isn't meant to crush you, it's meant to refine you. Every struggle brings with it a lesson, and every lesson brings with it a gift, a deeper understanding of yourself, a greater appreciation for the journey, a stronger connection to the truth that you were made for more than just comfort. You were made for growth, for meaning, for becoming. Quitting may bring temporary relief, but it never brings peace. It leaves you wondering what could have been. It leaves you with the weight of potential left unrealized. But when you choose to keep going, when you choose to get back up, you build something eternal. Not just results, but resilience. Not just achievements, but integrity. You become someone you can be proud of, someone who didn't back down. Someone who faced the fire and walked through it stronger than before. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to take a break. But don't confuse rest with quitting. Rest when you need to. Breathe when you must. But rise again when the time comes. Because the story you're writing is not over. There are still victories ahead. Still breakthroughs. Waiting. Still purpose to walk in. But you'll only get there if you keep moving. If you keep getting up. Keep showing up. And refuse to give up. You weren't made to shrink. You were made to shine. You weren't created to surrender to fear. You were made to rise above it. And the world needs what you carry: your voice, your story, your resilience. It's not too late. You're not too far gone. As long as there's breath in your lungs, you can begin again. You can rise again. You can overcome what's in front of you, just like you overcame what's behind you. You don't need to see the finish line to keep walking. You just need to trust that your effort is not in vain, that each step is a seed planted, that each act of courage is building something beautiful. One day you'll look back and realize that the moments when you felt the weakest were actually the Moments you became your strongest because you didn't quit. You overcame, and that's what you were made for. Asterisk, so get up. Even if it hurts, even if your hands are shaking, even if your heart is tired, show up for your dreams, for your healing, for the life you deserve, and never ever give up, because the only thing more powerful than your pain is your decision to rise above it. And once you decide that, nothing in this world can stop you.